Research shows that couples in long-distance relationships communicate more often than couples who live together. Despite the high communication frequency, 70% still report emotional loneliness and fear of growing apart. Why do couples find themselves in scenarios like this one?
They agree that one of them is going to go and take on a position somewhere other than home.
One of the biggest concerns for long-distance marriages is maintaining connection and intimacy.
Intimacy is not only physical. Maintaining connection is more of a heart decision than physical. I've had some people attempt to prescribe doses. Oh, you should have sex 3 times a day. Sometimes we exaggerate them and then we create this mindset that then without sex you're going to die.
As you advance in your relationship, there has to be systems that I think you put in place to handle things as they arise.
Distance can create a little bit of challenges. It can escalate the level of insecurity. Agreement is important for a relationship to survive. We talk about negative coping. There's positive coping, there's negative coping. So in every situation, we are going to be pressed, but how do we cope with that situation?
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Reality Check. I hope you're having a fantastic week. If you are joining us for the very first time, this is a channel that cares for hearts and minds, and we do that by having conversations on mental health in the areas of family, marriage, relationships, parenting, and the workplace. So if that's something that you would like to find useful, please do subscribe and like this episode so that it shows up in your algorithm next time you are on YouTube. Our beautiful set is courtesy of Ineza Shots. Ineza Shots are located on TMT Atrium building. That's in Bukoto on the 3rd level. And so if you're looking for videography and photography services, or if you would like a place to record your content, maybe you're thinking of starting a podcast, a YouTube channel, this is the place to start that conversation. Do drop by. It's quite accessible right here in the heart of Bukoto on the TMT Atrium building on the 3rd level. With that being said, welcome to the show. I am joined by Dr. Yvas Atwine, who is our resident therapist. For those of you that are new, she is the founder of International Center for Family Care and Mental Health and Family Care. Okay. If you're looking for therapy services, counseling, life coaching, parenting coaching, this is the place to go. Actually also located on the 3rd level of TMT Atrium building in Bukoto.
Just neighbors.
Yes, just neighbors to the studio.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rachel.
I hope you're well.
I'm well.
How's your week been?
Chaotic.
That pretty much sums up doctor's schedule. It has been chaotic. I mean, just before this, we were talking about some of the events you have missed because of your very tight schedule.
Yeah.
And it's good to be busy once in a while.
Yes, it is. It is to some extent.
To some degree.
Some degree.
But you're looking forward to a break, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am. And I also thank God that the work we do is self-re-energizing because you feel you're being a blessing to people. And when someone enters your room crying and they leave laughing, that's such a huge thing.
It's huge.
Yeah, so we thank God for work.
We do.
For ministry.
We absolutely do. Sure. Well, that's not what we're discussing today. We're going to be talking long-distance marriage or marriages. Or if you're in a long-distance relationship, this information might also be useful to you. I'm not too sure what prompted this conversation, but we shall have it anyway. I was reading some statistics online. Again, I went to AI and it provided some information. It said that research shows that couples in long-distance relationships actually communicate more often than couples who live together, averaging over 3 hours a day on calls and messages. However, despite the high communication frequency, they say 70% still report emotional loneliness and fear of growing apart, which are legitimate fears, if you ask me. But maybe a good starting point would be, why do couples typically find themselves in scenarios like this one, where one part of the couple has to live apart from the other? Yeah.
Okay, so the world has changed.
It has.
So many things have changed. Maybe I could start by sharing my experience.
Yes.
Yeah, so just 1 year into marriage, we had to live apart.
Really?
Yes. 1 year. 1 year. Yeah, so we had to live apart because my husband got a scholarship to study in Germany.
Yes.
And you can imagine. So 1 year, 2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
2 years.
Because he went, we were married in September 14, and he left, that was 1997 and 1998. 1 year.
1 year.
1 year, so he left and he went for a 2-year course. That was
Must have been
tough.
hard.
Yeah, it was very, very tough. And we had just gotten our children, our little babies, our twins. He had been extremely helpful. I've ever shared on this show. And so I had to stay back with our 2 children, 2 little babies. And then I was also doing a master's.
Ooh.
So it was very tough, very, very tough. He had gotten a scholarship to study. And so that's one of the reasons that people are living apart, advancing in career, studying, but also jobs.
Yes.
You know, so you can get employment in an area that is not home. And so couples, they agree that one of them, a spouse, is going to go and live and take on a position somewhere other than home. So you're not going to have an 8 to 5, someone going and you expect them back in the evening, but you have to live apart. What are the reasons? I mean, even here, even within the same country, you could be working in different locations.
That's true.
Yeah, we support our company, ICFC, we support different workplaces. And it's inevitable that people are working in Karamoja, different parts of the country, and then their families in the city, in Kampala. And so we just have to know that things have changed. We no longer, I mean, economics is taking us in different directions. So we have to know that that is that can happen. That really can happen.
I think the bigger question is making the decision mutually with respect and with clarity. I think that deciding for one party to move to another location can actually cause tension. In the marriage.
It does. It does. And I think you make a very important point. Agreement. You have to be on the same page.
Sure.
Because it's not very easy. I promised that I was going to share my experience. Yes. Agreement. Now, we you made the decision. Have to approach some of these decisions as a team. So this is not somebody's scholarship, it's actually your scholarship. It's your family thing. If your partner is advancing and they've been promoted and they are going and they're going to Nigeria to head an operation in Nigeria, then you have to you have to approach it as we. Yes. And by the way, as I mentioned this, I just remember so many couples so many families that have broken down because of long distance relationships and because they didn't agree.
Yes, it started at agreement level.
It reminds me of another reason, Rachel. When people are looking for a way to separate.
Oh.
Yes, like in a decent way.
Yes, without the drama,
they look for a job outside. So you just reminded me. So someone says, I'm lonely. In any case, we are here.
But it's as if we are not.
It's as if we are not. I don't feel you. And people are lonely. People are we just ran a whole episode on loneliness in marriage. You live in the same house, but you're very lonely. You have no time to connect. You feel single. Yes, you're married, but you feel single. It just reminds me of, I mean, people use different terminologies and words and whatever, but I know that there is a partner who recently told the other one, said, I feel either single or widowed. Yes, widowed. And sometimes, by the way, that loneliness can sting.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is, we need to know that, so I was just sharing that some people just look for that and go, and they haven't agreed. They've not agreed because one person is trying to look for a way out.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
So they say, maybe when we are away from each other, it will be lighter. Maybe we can long for each other. But here we are taking each other for granted. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons that
couples decide.
But the point I was making, once again, is agreement. Agreement is important for a relationship to survive.
That's true.
If one of you is escaping because it's a decent escape, then it doesn't help.
Yeah.
It doesn't help. I think there's what is this thing that when you're away from each other, the heart's long. I don't remember.
Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
That's the thing. Yeah, so there is that whole psychology that, yes, you long for each other, but you had better be in agreement. If you leave, the heart is not going to... That's true. To really...
To desire. If you're looking for an escape route, that's what you will get.
Yes, so that is going to make the situation worse.
That's true.
But so it needs to be approached from a standpoint of teamwork as a couple.
That's very true. And I think along the conversation, I would like us to talk a little bit more about agreement, and I think how couples can come to that decision, because there's many facets of this conversation. How long am I going to be there? Is this really going to benefit the family? What's the status of our family right now? You had little children at the time. If I really have to go, how are you leaving me, with the children? Should I get maybe a cousin to come and support me? That kind of conversation, I think, is necessary to have before the other party decides to leave.
100%, because it's a very big decision.
Yeah.
It's a very, very delicate junction in a relationship or on the journey of our relationships. And so it had better be accorded that degree of seriousness. Because one of the other things I haven't mentioned, and I'm just remembering, is that sometimes we approach it selfishly. I have to grow in career. What do you mean? You can't approach it selfishly, because once again, you have to look at it from the standpoint of we. This is for the family.
Yes.
So even when you're having conversations, your partner needs to know that this is going to benefit all of you. Not that they don't know, but they just need to be helped to overcome the negative side of the
move.
Yeah, of the move.
Yeah.
Because if you just logically approach it and say, look, I have to grow. Yeah, this is a promotion. This is can't you see? No, they don't see. So they see, but they don't see, because they are struggling with how is it going to play out. It's a very, 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 very big adjustment that has to happen at family level. How are you going to parent if you have children? Someone is worried about maybe you're leaving children at a very delicate time. I mean, just talking to someone recently who they come from a different country, live in this country, work here, their families, Canada, wherever, and the children have grown. And I was asking them, how much interaction do you have with your children? And he said, nothing. And I was asking him, I said, we try to speak, but then the time difference, you see the time difference. Someone means well, they really, really mean well, but the time difference. And then their partner feels like that time difference even robs them of the little opportunity to connect. So when you're calling, they are asleep. They are like 2 a.m. in the morning. and then you're trying to connect because that's the only time you have.
Yeah.
So it's a very, 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 very serious decision that has to be made, because it comes with a lot of inconvenience to the relationship. It disrupts the flow of the relationship, and so you cannot approach it from I have to. You both of you have to bear the inconvenience.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest concerns for long distance marriages is maintaining connection and intimacy. And so I would like for you to speak to how a couple can do that, maintain that emotional, physical connection and continue to build it even as they live apart. Like I said with the statistic, they will spend a lot of time on the phone, but we've seen more of those couples complaining that they are worried about growing apart, or that there's a loneliness involved. What are some of those things that couples can do to maintain connection?
You see, maintaining connection is more of a heart decision than physical, than presence. Presence is big in a relationship. It's a big thing. Even when you disagree, you know that your partner is going to come back and you talk. When you're away, you have chances of avoidance. But I just want to emphasize the fact that intimacy is not only physical. And I think that's the biggest problem, because I've had people talk about long distance relationships and how it affects intimacy. It does, 100%. But you cannot look at it from only one side.
One side, yes.
Yeah, and I'll come back to it because I want to talk about physical intimacy. There are other forms of being intimate, and that's why I was starting with my story of when my husband went to Germany to study for 2 years. We were closest.
Really?
We talked, we communicated, and gladly the time difference wasn't so big.
Wasn't too bad,
It wasn't so bad because Europe and here is just 2 hours. And so I remember, and then there were no phones, there were no mobile phones.
Yes.
I think actually they started here during that time, 99, 98.
About 99.
About 99. And he would call, he would buy cards, those scratch cards, and call. Right? And he called and kept all the cards. Now, when I went to visit him, he showed me those cards.
Wow.
He said, if I hadn't utilized my resources, because he had a scholarship, but he used a big chunk of his resources on communication, on keeping in touch with the family. And so we would talk, we would laugh, we missed him, but then of course he left when our babies were so little, and he missed them. So we just kept in touch. He told me, he said, if I hadn't spent money on this, I would have bought you a Benz from here, or wherever those German brands, which I don't know. But you know, and I told him, I'm glad you chose to keep in touch, because we communicated. We were always in touch. We prayed together, we laughed together, and we made these conversations together. We made decisions together. I remember that time we made some major decisions, investments and all. And it's because we were in touch. And that, what does that do? It builds it builds closeness and intimacy, whatever you mean. Now, it doesn't mean that then it takes away other forms of intimacy you want to think about. But I want to tell you, once you agree and you're ready for the inconvenience, you see, you're ready for the inconvenience. In life, you can't always have it two ways.
No, you can't.
You see, you can't always have it two ways. And I know why I'm talking about that, because I've had people say, oh, you know, my partner cheated because we were apart. I said, no, they didn't cheat because you were apart. They cheated because even if you were sleeping in the same bed, they would still cheat. Cheated, It's in the mind. It's in the mind. It's at personal level, your personal value system. If it is accepted for you to do that, you're going to long for it and you're going to go after it. And it's not because your partner isn't there. And so we just need to know that there are so many other ways of keeping spiritually intimate. I mean, I'm just thinking this is outside the marriage, but our children live outside of the country. But we are very close. We have a family fellowship. We have a family fellowship every Sunday.
Yeah.
And we read the scripture, we pray, we check in on each other, then we pray together, and we keep close.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, there's people who live in the same house, but they don't have that kind of connection. So it's about intentionality.
That's true.
So no one should lie to you that you'll grow apart just because you're not physically together. No.
Yeah.
It is number one in the reasons that put you apart. If you agreed, it's in agreement, but it's also in intentionality, going an extra mile.
Yes.
Knowing that now it is not the comfort of someone coming back home in the evening, but they are away, they are probably different time zones, so you need to be intentional.
Yeah.
And so there are so many other ways you can be intimate without being physically intimate.
Together.
But I can also talk about that. Being apart, I mean, you cannot have the same amount of physical intimacy that you want to have.
That's true.
But then again, building on what we talked about, having agreed, you all appreciate that this person needs to be away. It's just a short time.
Yeah.
It's even if it's 3 years, once you're in agreement, it can be a short time. Even if it's 5 years, once you're in agreement, it can be a short time. And then you work within what you have. I do remember, like, that time when I went to Germany to visit my husband, it was a huge sacrifice.
I'm sure
we didn't have all the resources on earth to do that. But again, the little money that he saved, then he bought a ticket for me to go there, right? Then he also came because he was not supposed to come. He was supposed to study and then finish come. But he bought a ticket and came home. You see that kind of sacrifice. We cannot have good relationships from a point of convenience. No.
Not at all.
It can't be convenient.
Yeah.
So you have to make those kinds of sacrifices. I remember when I was still doing jobs which would take me away from home, I would spend money to go with my partner. You know, we would agree as a family to spend money to go as a family. You know, we traveled together with children and went to different destinations so that we can keep together. So it's not true that just by being away, you're separated by whatever circumstances, relationships are not locational.
That's true.
No. Relationships, they are in the heart. Relationships, you can still be away from your partner and you're super close.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's the heart.
Yeah.
It's the mind.
Yeah.
So if you choose to continue connecting spiritually, then the distance is just
it's
distance.
A small thing. Yeah. And we are so blessed in our age today that, I mean, we have the internet, we have WhatsApp, we have, I mean, in your time it was
tough.
Scratch cards. You know, and once the scratch card is done, that's it.
That's it.
You know? But with WhatsApp, I mean, it's unlimited. You can talk for hours. You can talk, you know.
You see, Rachel, you just remind me of scripture. I think it's in I don't remember. But scripture says, 3 Peter 1.
2 Peter, you know.
2 Peter. This one is 3 John.
3 John, yes.
3 John. That God has given us everything we need for life and for godliness. God has given us everything we need for life and for godliness. We need to know that all these things have been given to us. You don't just have to be close because you're in the same location. No. You have WhatsApp. You can talk forever.
Yes, you can.
So that's not true that you don't have the resources to, you have no way of being close. And so now you cannot connect, and so it is all an emergency. That's not true.
It's not true.
That's absolutely not true.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether I'm jumping the gun, but I just wanted to make a point at this, just mention something at this point. Physical intimacy is such a big thing in marriage. You know, sex is a big thing in marriage. Now, when you are apart, again, this is the thing that is affected the most.
Yeah.
I've had some people attempt to prescribe doses. Oh, you should have sex 3 times a day. Or, you know, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes we exaggerate them, and then we create this mindset that then without sex you're going to die. Like you're going to die. Like die, be buried. That's not true. That's not true. Now, when you separate as a couple, one has gone to study, another one is here, or wherever, that is going to be, you have to know that that's going to be affected. Yeah. So mindset, how do you view that? So these are the conversations that should happen. How are you going to keep pure? You know, how are you going to maintain purity. While apart? And I honestly want to tell you that that is possible. That's possible. But because we run it as an emergency, oh, this person, they can't be there without sex. I have never heard of anyone die
because they didn't have sex.
Yeah. That's not true. It's just this lousy emergency that is created in people's heads. And then you think, because your partner is away, now what do I do? Because then you're just totally helpless. That's not true.
You need help.
You need a rescue mission.
An ambulance to
That's
come.
That's not true. It is just exaggerated sense of neediness and lack of moral standing, because distance doesn't protect you or doesn't cause you to sin. It is in the head. Yeah. It's your mindset. It's actually system. That's what I talked about last time, the personal value system. It's your personal value system that is going to protect you. I've worked in different locations. I would travel for a long period of time. I would be in totally different zones, and I would spend, weeks and months
away from home.
And it would never cross my mind that all these men surrounding me could be potential rescuers. That's nonsense.
Potential firemen.
No, firemen. That's not true.
Yeah.
It is because you have it in your heart as acceptable. And so when your partner is away, yes, there is going to be loneliness, guaranteed. Guaranteed. But is that the only way you can manage loneliness? You see? That's why in counseling we talk about negative coping.
Yes.
Yeah, negative coping, because there's positive coping, there's negative coping. So in every situation, we are going to be pressed, but how do we cope with that situation? So even when you hear that someone, because their partner is away and now they needed sex and they can't get it, so now they have to find someone, that's negative coping, because it's going to create
a secondary
problem. So I just thought I would mention that.
And I think it's necessary.
No one is going to die.
No one. It's not an emergency.
Yeah, because of death, no sex.
No,
that's
never.
That's not true. Yeah.
So, I mean, you've talked about different periods of time where couples can be apart. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And I think it might be difficult to prescribe what is acceptable, but maybe we can have a conversation around an expiration date of sorts. Because when a couple stays apart again now too long, it might also create secondary problems. You're 100%. Testing the limits of the relationship.
Yeah.
So is that something that should be discussed at the agreement level?
100%. You see, when we said that a couple should agree on things, this is a major decision. It's a very, very big decision. And so it has to happen. Now, I could mention something, Rachel, about acceptable time for separation and all. We cannot again sit here and try to prescribe, like don't wait until, but you see, there are certain seasons that you should probably, or major considerations you should make. For instance, when you've just gotten married, you're still trying to bond.
Yes.
Yeah? And so you're still trying to bond. When you're bonding, maybe so many other things happening. I mean, there's like A to Z kind of considerations that have to be made. And so then that's the time you separate. Then you have to know what you're up against. Because someone is there, they are alone, and then you go and maybe you get a job that is a non-family station, and then you go after it. No, there are so many considerations we have to make. For instance, I get to speak to so many people, but considerations like children, your partner maybe is expecting. That's the time you're trying to advance in career, and they're going to be alone, and they're going to have a child alone. Maybe your children are turning teenagers, and I have to emphasize this. I had to make a very big decision when our children were turning teenagers in my career. So in life, we always have, we have to do prioritization at different times, and different things are going to be a priority during a certain season. So for your relationship, you maybe are planning to wed, and then that's the time you go. You have to be sure that both of you are really looking at something the same way. I mean, we have some friends that had their wedding, and after 1 week, one went to study in Europe. But they agreed. Okay. Yeah, they agreed. And this lady had to go after very, very close friends. I won't mention them. Maybe they will see this and know. But she had to go to the Netherlands to study. And she went. So, again, we can't be prescriptive, but there are certain considerations you have to make. And key thing is, please listen to each other. Listen to the concerns of the other party. Don't be dismissive. And sometimes when we suffocate our partners and gaslight them and say, really? You have anything to say about this?
Yes. This opportunity could help us,
Oh my God, this is a lifeline. You can't even be saying then you don't love me. How can you not? No, you don't have to say that. Please allow your partner to share their fears, share their fears, and have a conversation that is open. Listen to each other, and make sure that you have considered all the stakes. And then when you make that decision, you're okay. You know that we knew that this would be a problem. But we are ready for it mentally. Yeah.
And I think even at agreement level, as you advance in your relationship, there has to be systems that I think you put in place to handle things as they arise.
100%. Because that should be... You have to have a system that is going to support the new dynamic.
Yes.
You see, you cannot assume that it's going to be business as usual.
Big mistake.
Yeah, it's a very big mistake, because then you have to know that there are so many adjustments that have to happen, and then first of all, talk about them, but secondly, work out a mechanism of averting the consequences of the dynamics, because then it can be a very big problem when there are so many unanswered questions, and boom, you're making a decision. Then what are you doing?
That's true. Yeah. Let's carry on that line of mistakes that couples who are in long distance marriages typically make. I think one of them, like we've already said, is assuming that this is business as usual. Yeah. You're not the same as a couple who are living together. Yeah. Therefore, you can't do what they are doing. Yeah. What are some of the other mistakes that come to mind?
The other mistake at starting level is to assume when you're not in agreement that your partner will get on board along the way. That's a very big mistake.
Wow. Yeah. But that's such a risk.
Oh, yeah. They'll get on board. They'll sort
Such a
themselves.
risk.
That is very dangerous. You can leave your partner
Wow.
very angry.
And vulnerable.
They can resent you. They can be vulnerable because they were not in agreement. Their questions were not answered, and so that's a huge risk.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I feel like that's similar to, you know, when couples say, oh, we are getting together, but maybe me, I don't want children. And then you think that I'll marry this person, and eventually
They'll
they
change.
will come. Yeah.
No, that's a very big risk.
Yeah.
To assume that they are going to find their way onto the issue, that's a very big risk.
It is.
Yeah, because
It
they
is.
can drop off forever. And it can
Yes.
determine how your relationship will work.
And then when it's time for you to come back,
Oh.
you'll find, you know, a non-existent relationship.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have seen so many cases. Yeah, especially us ladies,
yes.
when we get to advance in career, and we think this man should have seen it. I mean, this is a blessing to the family. Or he's just jealous of me.
He's jealous of my advancement.
Yeah. No, that's a very big mistake. Yeah, someone won't. Taking each other for granted.
Yes.
Yeah, taking each other for granted. They knew, but I don't have to put in a lot of effort because, I mean, really, don't they see? They don't see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lack of intentionality, what I talked about, being innovative around how you can still connect, stay connected. And I mean, it just also revolves around taking each other for granted. They know that I'm okay. They know that I love them. Even if I don't call, they know I'm working for the family.
Yes.
That is dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very dangerous. And that's a very big mistake.
Yeah.
Very big mistake. And look, we have to be in each other's faces to stay connected. So that's why I mentioned, like, look for opportunities around you that can keep you intimate, even when you're not physically in the same place.
Very true.
Yeah.
I think that ambiguity around, I mean, in general, I think couples struggle with clarity, whether it's with finances or parenting or, you know, how to handle conflict. I find that when you are apart, maybe that ambiguity becomes even more vivid. And I think for couples, and I would like for you to comment on that, the ambiguity around how to manage resources, timelines, you know, like, okay, so when you finish studying the 2-year scholarship, what's the plan there? You know, when it's kind of left to, we shall see, you know? Can you speak about that?
You can't see. So you see, ambiguity indeed. You see, in wellness and in connection, in relationships generally, so where we say people are connected, predictability is important.
That's true.
Yeah, I need to know, I need to predict. That's why even when we, now, married people, we tend to front, if you are lucky to have children, we front children and say, children want to know. But
I'm asking for Junior.
Yes, I'm asking for Junior. Do you know that, so let me use an example of children.
Yeah.
When parents are living, especially moms, I use it to travel. And even now when I have some travel, I have to sit with the children and tell them exactly how it's going to look like. So I'll say, I'm going to Karamoja, I'm going to spend 3 days. They say, how do 3 days look like? I say, I'm going on Monday, and I work Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I come Thursday in the morning. They say, but that's 4 days. I say, yeah, that's what it is. But on the 4th day, I'm going to be
I'll be
home.
back, yes.
You know what that does? Every day, it energizes them. They are able to count down.
Yes.
They say, mommy, now 1 day is gone, another day is gone. That is important in wellness. So even in issues of this nature, long distance relationships, if I'm going to work, I need to be very clear how that is going to look like. I need to be able to tell my partner, by the way, the engagement I've gotten, this is how it looks like. I'm going to work 1 year and then another year, wherever the contract ends in 2 years. And then I have opportunities to come home, you know, for 2 weeks every wherever. That is important for predictability, but also it communicates respect. It communicates that you consider another person's discomfort. You're not just pursuing your own way, but you are considerate of their discomfort from the whole dynamic. Now that is extremely important. So clarity, very key, very key. Don't leave anything unanswered. And I said, if you open up the conversation and you give permission to your partner to ask as many questions as they can, that is extremely helpful. So they will say, so how long do we have to wait? So how are we going to connect? So how are we? Clarity. Make sure that you open up the communication channels and your partner can ask as many questions as possible. Can I just say something else about the risks or the bad mistakes we make? I mentioned earlier, just want to reiterate, running away, hoping that when you're far, then your relationship is going to improve. That's not true. So the long distance relationships can actually successfully disconnect you. Yes. Disconnect you completely. It can just take away the little remaining of your relationship. So it can't help. It just can't help. Sometimes we use it and say, maybe, you know, this partner is taking me for granted. Let them do without me, and then they will learn a lesson.
Oh dear.
The thing is, if you're going to have a long distance relationship, it's also very important to come from a good place, because intentions are everything. Motive is everything. So if I'm looking for a job to run away from my partner, it may not necessarily improve the relationship.
Not at all.
I've said not necessarily.
Not necessarily, yeah.
Maybe in 1 or 2 cases it could. If your partner stays home and sees, my punching bag is off. They could.
Yeah.
But it may not necessarily. Remember, relationships are at heart level.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's not locational.
Yeah. One of the other things that is rife in long distance relationships is jealousy, insecurity. I think because you're not with your partner, you only have maybe their voice to go by and their facial expressions if you're doing FaceTime. So if one evening they are not themselves, you'll be like, is it someone at the office? Is it someone at school? So you're only left with a lot of imagination, which can cause mistrust and insecurity in the relationship. How can couples handle that kind of scenario?
Look, trust. And trust can be affected even when you sleep in the same bed.
This is true.
So that's why I said these challenges are not relational, rather they are not locational. They are in the heart. I know that long distance can create a little bit of challenges in terms of it can escalate the level of insecurity, but please note that insecurity is insecurity. I've had some partners that will call and say, you didn't pick my call, are you sure you are alone, and all those things. Yes, you see, where is the problem? Is it in the location? No. If you don't trust your partner, you don't trust your partner.
Whether they are with you
Whether they are with you or they are not. I know people who are fighting from here. They sleep home. They are not separated by location. But they are insecure. So what I will tell you is that if someone has some degree of insecurity, or if your relationship is characterized by mistrust, it's a location, a separation in location is going to make it worse.
That's true.
Yeah, so it will just make it worse. And so it's very important that then people work on on their relationship. You know, for instance, if this should be a part of the conversation. If you're having challenges here, you probably can ask your partner, can I trust you?
Yeah, it's a fair question.
Yeah, so the thing is, we have to build a relationship. Once you have your relationship together, then you can withstand the challenges of long distance relationships. You know. Yeah, and again, I mentioned intentionality. I mean, long distance relationships, I can tell you, it's one of the areas where we need to engage our four-wheel drive. We really have to engage our four-wheel drive. So you cannot just keep driving the way you're driving. The tires are going to get stuck. So so we need to go an extra mile. We need to engage another gear and say, I need to communicate more. I need to, you know, if my partner calls, Bambi, they are away. They may not understand what I'm going through. So let me just drop them a message and say, I'm still in a meeting, but I'm coming out. That kind of intentionality, that is really empathetic, where you're considering your partner and more than yourself, but also choosing to trust.
Yeah,
you have to choose
back
to
to heart
trust.
level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back to heart level.
Yeah.
You have to choose to trust. So someone is in Canada, and so you're running this mistrust show. Where are you going to end?
It's a mistrust show.
I honestly can't trust this man or this girl. Really? Okay. Now you can run that, but then what are you going to get out? Yeah. So there is a lot of character strengthening that we have to do from this. It actually helps us to test ourselves. Are we able to really, overcome such a situation? Can we outlive it, or we are going to be submerged by it? Yeah, so we have to make a decision.
Yeah. I'm all out of questions, Doctor. I feel like you have handled and advised. I think one of my biggest takeaways has been at agreement level. Because maybe that's where, that's the foundation. That's where many mistakes are made. I think the big one being they will come along eventually. It's such a high risk to take on your relationship, especially if you want it to work, you know. And I think that there are many things that couples can do to stay connected. But at the heart of it is you have to make a choice.
You have to make a choice.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, Rachel, there are so many choices to be made, and not by the person going, but also the person staying.
Yes.
That's why I said, yes, you can choose to trust your partner. You can choose to depend on God. Because there are so many things that are going to be out of your control. So many, you know.
Yeah.
So instead of sitting and saying, I honestly don't trust you. You told me that you are in a meeting, but I don't believe that you're in a meeting. What do you want this person to do? And how are you going to prove
that they're not in a
meeting? They're not in a meeting. So you just have to know, you have to trust. You have to trust your partner, you have to trust God. You see, you have to trust your intentions. You chose. And every choice attracts a consequence.
Yeah.
So now you're no longer operating from the place of comfort. You are operating from a place of discomfort. And because life is not always comfortable, then you have to know that this, you were mentally prepared for it.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something about the statistic you shared at the start. Now, do you see what I was mentioning as a four-wheel drive? That then we are seeing indeed that couples who are living apart, they tend to communicate more. They check in, they do all that, that kind of intentionality. Whether that improves the relationship or not, it's a good practice in itself. Because you see, communication is at the heart of the relationship. Communication builds trust. It creates clarity. You remember the clarity you are talking about. It bonds you. You see, it builds that kind of intimacy. You can still keep spiritually connected through intentional communication. You see, very, very important. You can make decisions. You can plan together. You can, as I mentioned, communication is key.
Yeah.
And so, as we conclude this, it's very important for people to know that whether you're together or not, communication is key.
Yeah.
But when you are away, communication is breath and life.
That's true. That's very true.
Very, very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we've mostly spoken about an ideal situation where there is a mature man and a mature woman, or at least they are growing towards maturity. I've had many stories where, you know, people say, oh, we started out maybe living together, but my partner now goes to, say, Uganda more often. So there's an element of long distance, and suddenly they hear that man has another family.
So that
in Uganda.
That's the thing.
He has been sending money, and you know he has built property, and you know the wife is unaware of the developments.
That's the thing. So I talked about negative coping. First of all, we also have to acknowledge we can't leave this show without talking about the temptation people are exposed to.
Yes, we should.
And that overcoming that temptation is not going to be telling people how the devil is bigger.
The devil tempted me.
That's not the thing.
Yeah.
You have to know there are so many in life generally, on the journey of life, we're going to be exposed to so many rough surfaces. This is one of them. This is a very big rough surface in marriage. So I hope we haven't come off like it's something easy, you can just maneuver. No, it's a very big rough surface. It's a big tangent. It's a delicate turn.
That's true.
In the life of couples. And so people need to know that it's going to expose you to so much temptation.
Yes.
One of the temptation is that now that you are away from each other, things won't be known. You can actually run some relationship there.
She'll never know.
Who is going to know?
Who's going to know?
Who is going? You see, we think that is going to happen. So you can, the 2 years you're there, you can have another relationship, and then when you come, you be clean. You're just a clean guy or clean girl. That doesn't happen. I just want to remind viewers that the moment you get perverted, your partner is going to know.
Tell them.
Yeah. Your partner will get to know.
Yeah.
Because when you're operating from a clear heart, there is that kind of emotional flow. There is a spiritual connection. The moment you get perverted, you don't have a spare heart.
That's
you
true.
don't have a spare brain. It is going to be clear that you're now divided.
You're divided, yes.
That emotional division is going to come, it's just going to be very clear to your partner, and you're going to hear them say, what's happening?
You seem off.
You seem off. We seem to be detaching.
Yes.
I don't know what is happening. And then someone can say, again, what?
Gaslighting.
It's in your head.
It's in your head. You're imagining.
You're imagining. What are you thinking? Won't I work?
Can't you trust me?
Can't you trust me? Those kinds of things. No, because you see, we forget that marriage, it just puts you as one person. And whether they touch you from Canada or from Vietnam or wherever, it is going to come.
Yes.
Your partner is going to sense it.
Yeah.
They're going to sense it. And they're not sensing it because they are paranoid or OCD or whatever. No, they're going to sense it because you detach.
Yes.
You detach. You cannot have...
Almost involuntarily.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because again, as I keep reminding people, you don't have a spare heart. I've had people who can love how many women or men at the same time. That's a lie. You must be a magician. Or
then it's not love, maybe.
No, that's it's not. So the thing is, we have to exercise that kind of. We have to know that you're exposed to so much temptation. So what happens? Then you have to be aware of your level of vulnerability, right? You have to be aware that all those things you talked about are happening. Someone goes to study 1 year. Oh my God, they had to get someone.
They couldn't deal.
I couldn't. No. And then you have to tell yourself, Of course, now sometimes when people do that, they get somewhere and they say, now I'm already, can't I have two people? Let me just have two families. You're working backwards. You hadn't planned for it, and it's going to be a problem. You can think you're going to get another person and an extra person, then you start justifying the usual natural way of after all our culture, after all after all this, after all I'm a man, men can't live with one, all those funny things. But you have to know that is going to affect you as a person first and foremost before it even affects and destroys your family, right? So you have to be intentional about resisting temptation. Resisting temptation. Resisting temptation is not banange devil go away.
Patting him on the back. Why don't you leave me alone?
Leave me alone, devil. No, there is a lot of temptation.
There is.
So you have to acknowledge it. We can't even be dismissive of it. It's there. It's there, but this is your moment to fight. This is your moment to be intentional about keeping purity. This is your intention to protect you. This is a moment to protect your family intentionally. This is a moment to check and strengthen your inner muscle, your moral muscle. This is the point. So you can choose to fall or you can choose.
You know how it is.
Yeah, you know how it is. It's tough. We know. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. But are you going to fall for every tough thing?
Are you?
No. You're not going to do that. So it's one of those things actually that is affecting families. So by the time you return 2 years later, and you think it's even so long. Some people it's 3 months. Oh yeah, I know someone.
Really?
And we can all name someone in our circles who went for a 3 months short course.
And they got another family.
They are now absolutely messed up. So it's something we cannot be dismissive of, but we have to be mindful of.
It happens. Well, now that we've talked about temptation, I know we can end the show because I felt like we were only discussing an ideal situation, and the truth is there is temptation. I mean, there's temptation even when you're here with your spouse. So imagine where you're in a place where nobody knows you. They may not even know you're married. You didn't disclose that. So
people remove
rings, it allows you to operate under the radar. And I think it goes back to the standard of right and wrong. And like you have said, building that muscle to resist temptation. Because temptation is not temptation unless it's giving you ideas.
I know. Oh, yeah.
To behave a certain way. And you might argue that I won't be caught. And maybe you won't. So thank you, Doctor, for expounding on long-distance marriages. I think the underlying theme as well is it is possible to be in a marriage long-distance and have it healthy, and you can still grow within the period of time that you're apart with your spouse. And when you come back, you kind of pick up from where you have been building, and I think it's important to note that. Do you have any last words before we end?
Well, last words, guess I've mentioned all this, but to remind people that you can have a long distance relationship and still keep close.
Yes.
You can actually keep closer than the people that sleep in the same bed. So it is all in how you manage it. It's in agreement. It is in managing the inconvenience. It is all that. So it's not true that every long distance relationship is going to be such a burden. We can actually use it to our advantage.
Absolutely.
But then also to remind people that it can mature you. I was just thinking about how in life we are presented with so many opportunities to prove our growth. So this is one of the relationships that can, whether circumstances and rough patches that can help us to stretch and grow, right? Because growth is not in comfort zones. No, growth is actually in moments of inconvenience.
Yes.
And just also to say that long distance, it's a season. It's a season. If people consider it as a season that is going to pass, a cloud that is going to pass, to clear, then we can survive it. But if you consider it as an emergency, you can make mistakes that will then create
the
lasting,
emergency.
lasting emergency.
emergencies.
Yes, so as much as possible to know that we can manage this. And once again, agree. Please approach long distance circumstances as a team.
In agreement.
Let it be a we thing, not a me thing.
Yeah.
Don't be selfish and self-centered. You have to consider your partner, and then, of course, leaving communication channels open.
Well, there you have it. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. I really hope it's been helpful for those of you that are in long-distance marriages or relationships. Maybe things have happened along the way, and the wisdom that has been shared here can be added onto your journey. Would love to hear from you. So do leave us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. That would be really, really, really helpful. But also, if you're in a long-distance relationship, what are some of the things you're doing to stay connected? Or maybe what are some of the challenges that you have experienced in your journey that you would like support in? And hopefully Dr. Evers can get into the comments and support you. But until next week, stay well, stay healthy, and keep it reality check. We hope you subscribe and like and comment. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.